Hello, everyone. A very good day and a very warm welcome to today's international webinar. Exertis Pro AV has recently become the exclusive distributor for Xilica innovative products in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and selected Eastern European markets. We, especially me, we're very excited about the manufacturer solutions and the possibilities that the products bring in terms of possible combinations with products from other manufacturers we are currently offering. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Sean Robinson, Vice President of Products. Mark Ulrich, Manager for Solutions Engineering at Xilica, will also be attending today and will be available to answer deep technical questions. Sean, thank you so much, Sean and Mark, thank you so much for taking your time today to give us an overview about your portfolio. We'll get right into it, just a quick info ahead of time. Our webinar will last about 30 to 40 minutes, I guess. If you have any questions during the time, please use the chat feature on the application we're using today, and we will answer your questions together following the presentation. Sean, Mark, over to you.
Great, thanks, Leon. Hello and guten Tag. My name is Sean Robinson with Xilica, and I'm coming to you from Dallas, Texas in the US. Thank you all for joining this afternoon and for the opportunity to provide you with an overview of the Xilica product portfolio. We're extremely excited to have joined the Exertis family of brands and looking forward to a very productive session today. Xilica is a professional audio technology company developing audio solutions for collaboration spaces. And in today's webinar, we'll be providing you with an overview of our target market applications, background on Xilica as a company, and a high-level overview of our product portfolio and room solutions that we offer. Okay, so first, I'd like to talk about the market focus for Xilica. Our goal in the first part of the presentation is to help you understand who Xilica is and help you position Xilica. We know there's a lot of audio technology providers in the market today, so we want to give you a good understanding about who we are and where we focus. So Xilica's audio technology solutions are used in a wide range of different market applications, but our key focus areas are medium to large collaboration spaces, whether that be university classrooms or medium to large conference rooms. These type of spaces are not typically served very well by the traditional web conferencing or collaboration soundbar, and typically require the use of an installed audio system to distribute sound very effectively across the space and make sure that remote attendees can hear very well from the people in those larger spaces. However, as we know, some of the challenges of installed audio systems in these spaces as compared to a web conferencing soundbar, typically there's a big jump in cost and there's a big jump in complexity as well, because you traditionally require a lot of audio expertise to deploy rooms of that size in audio and require specialized audio expertise to do that. And then there's challenges in mounting the equipment. You know, in today's installed audio solutions, typically there's at least one box that you need an equipment rack for. And I'm sure you're seeing this from many of your customers, applications that you're serving. The modern collaboration space occasionally or very often does not include an equipment rack. And so what do you do then? So we're going to talk, those are the key problems that Xilica is focused on. And we're going to talk about how we solve those with our product portfolio. So key areas of focus for Xilica and our product portfolio, and areas where we feel like we differentiate very well, and it also continues to guide our product development going forward, are these really four key pillars. First of all, installation simplicity. We know that audio and audio technology and deploying audio solutions can be a very complex thing to do. We have tools and capabilities to allow audio engineers to do pretty much anything they want, but for typical collaboration spaces, we try to simplify that as much as possible as well for those who might not have that audio expertise. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we go forward in some of our solution set. We also are very heavily invested in making sure all of our products are very network native and align very well to IT infrastructure, and using category cable wherever possible and using the network wherever possible. We know that that's not the future of AV, that is what's going on right now with AV. And so we definitely have designed our product portfolio to be very network centric, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we get into the product portfolio here in a few minutes. Also, being able to cost optimize a solution. So we believe deeply that the customer should not have to pay for hardware or software that they don't need. And we all know that every customer application can be unique and different. And so we have architected our solution so that not only are there some software licensing involved for different features if they need it or not, but also hardware configurable. So they're not paying for hardware components or technology that they don't need for their particular application. And we'll, of course, dive down deep into that in our product portfolio overview as well. And then finally, that disappearing equipment rack out of the modern collaboration space. We're going to talk about that as we go through the presentation. We have, for our room solutions, focused really deeply on mechanical design to make sure that our products are extremely compact and can mount inconspicuously in these spaces without an equipment rack. And so that's an area of really deep differentiation for us that we'll talk about more as we get into the products. So that's a little bit about who, Xilica, where we focus as far as our marketing, our sales, our product development, as far as the target market applications, and then how we seek to differentiate both in our current product portfolio and in our product development going forward. But if you've not heard of Xilica, let me tell you a little bit about Xilica. So Xilica has been around actually since 2002. This is our 21st year in business. And if you've not heard of Xilica, it's because we are a very engineering-led organization and we just have not been very good at marketing for 20 of those 21 years. And so we're really doing a much better job now on the marketing side and then opening up new distribution channels to make our products generate more market awareness and make them more available. So that's Xilica is not a new company. We've been around for a long time, but it might feel new because you might not have heard of us yet. So we're based out of Toronto, Canada. That's where our engineering team is, and the founder actually of Xilica is an engineer. He started the company as a firmware and hardware engineer, came out of professional audio many years ago, doing very high quality performance-related audio, and all of that expertise is baked into the products. We are focused on the corporate, education, and government markets. A lot of our products can also be used in leisure, hospitality as well because of the flexibility. But our main focus from a sales and product development perspective is corporate, education, and government. And we're now serving over 100 countries worldwide through global distribution. So that's a little bit about who Xilica is as a company. And now I will take you actually into the product portfolio. All right, so Xilica is an audio technology company that develops solutions for collaboration spaces. And so this is our we keep things very simple as well. So the product portfolio is comprehensive, but it's also very focused. So it's really easy to get your head around it. It's easy to design, it's easy to deploy, everything works very well together, and it's very focused. And we really, when you look into the audio, installed audio for a collaboration space, you'll see across this portfolio, it's pretty much everything you need with the exception of the microphone. So we don't do the microphone. So we have some good partnerships there. But if you need audio technology around a microphone, whether it be an analog audio microphone or a networked microphone, such as the beamforming ceiling microphones that are very popular today, we round out that solution around those ceiling microphones extremely well with the portfolio. So the portfolio consists of really 3 main product lines from an audio perspective. We have the Solaro audio processing line. These are digital signal processors, and this is what we've been doing for 21 years. We know digital signal processing extremely well. It's at the heart of what we do, and we continue to do it, right? We still see a lot of opportunity in digital signal processing for delivering great audio experiences, and we can have continued development on this as well. So that's a very big part of our product line, is the heart of the system, the Solaro digital signal processors. And that's what we've been doing for 21 years until last year. We wanted to round out this product portfolio and start offering more of the room solution. And so we started filling out our product line with new product development. And that was a real challenge over the last 2 years with all the supply chain nightmare going on. And that's where all my hair went for the last 2 years. But we were successful in doing so, and we brought these products to market last year, and actually we have them all in inventory as well. So this is it was quite a challenge by the operations and engineering teams to do that. Very proud of them, and we'll be talking about these product lines here in a few minutes. Sonia is our room audio solution. It's a ceiling-based loudspeaker solution, all category cable connected, very simple to install, and it distributes sound extremely well for the people in the medium to large space. So that helps us bring sound out. And then of course, Geo is our networked interface line, which allows us to bridge devices and other components onto and off of the network, right? So the reason we did this is, you know, I'm sure many of you are aware in the market today, it's become a little bit more difficult to get Dante interfaces for doing this, and so we had to develop our own. And so we've done that and brought those to market over this last year as well. And that's the Geo product line. And we'll go through each one of these individually so you get a better understanding of what they are. That's our audio product line. We do have a very focused user interface line as well, and we'll get into talking to some of the clever things that you can do with that here in a few minutes. Okay, so first we're going to talk about, again, the heart of the system, which is the Solaro audio processing line. So the heart of the audio solution, again, is the digital signal processors, the Solaro DSPs. These are open architecture and modular devices with very powerful processing capabilities to meet the needs of the most challenging audio applications. And there are two versions depending on the application need, right? There's the Solaro QR1, which is on the left. This is a very, very compact form factor tailored specifically for single room audio solutions. And then there's the Solaro FR1, which is on the right side, and that is a one rack unit frame that is for more, you know, larger audio applications with significant numbers of inputs and outputs, or a centralized processing type of scenario where you want to centralize your audio processing in a data closet and then serve multiple spaces. That's the Solaro FR1. It's key to note here that both processors, both frames include exactly the same processing engine. So the software is the same, everything's the same, with the exception of the number of inputs and outputs that it can that it has capability for. And we'll talk about each one of those separately. So they're both modular, right? From a hardware perspective. So this is the Solaro FR1 being shown here, and so the way you deploy this is to, you know, you buy the frame and then you buy the individual cards that you need based on what physical I/O you require. So this allows, again, back to cost optimization as a key focus area for us. The Solaro's line's modularity allows you to configure a system specifically to a customer's unique need and avoid paying for hardware and software that is not needed. AEC is licensed, so if you don't need AEC for whatever reason, if it's not a conferencing environment, you don't pay for AEC. That's the software license capability, and then you basically buy the cards as needed. Again, the Solaro FR1 is shown here, and it has 16 I/O slots. The I/O cards consist of analog audio in, which includes phantom power capability, analog audio out, and those are all 2-channel each. USB, the USB audio card actually takes up 2 card slots, and it's a 2-channel in, 2-channel out card, and then GPIO, and GPIO is actually 4 channels. These cards can be installed in any configuration you want, and then you use our Xilica designer software to configure them however you like. The Solaro FR1 also comes with an optional, there's another model of the FR1D that actually comes with 64 channels of Dante in and out that allows for networked audio. So that's the larger one rack unit version, again, used for, you know, very complex audio applications, very, very large conferencing centers, but also if you want to centralize your audio processing in a data closet and serve multiple spaces over Dante, you can do that as well, and you have plenty of headroom with 64 channels of Dante in and out. And then the QR1, and again, this is our single room solution, and it's optimized for single room solutions, and it's really become a really great product for hybrid collaboration spaces. It is more than 50% more compact than competitive small format processors. You've seen other solutions on the market for small format DSPs. This is more than 50% smaller than those other ones, which makes it really easy to install either behind a display or underneath a table very inconspicuously. It literally is the only small form factor modular DSP on the market, providing you with the flexibility that you might need in a room, right? So as you know, typical hybrid spaces, you just need USB, but somebody's always going to need maybe an analog out for a listening loop. Maybe there's another mic that you want to bring an analog audio in, or maybe another feed. You have all that flexibility here to do that, including some GPIO if you want to use that for projector screens or sensors or lights or anything like that. Their flexibility is there. The QR1 has 8 card slots, and as I mentioned, each audio card is 2 channels, and then the GPIO is 4 channel. It's also been designed around UC, so on the USB card, we have HID capability over USB, which means that we have mute sync and volume sync with Microsoft Teams, meaning that if you mute in the Microsoft Teams app, we can detect that in our processor and actually trigger mute lights, whether that be on a just a indicator in the room or actually on a ceiling microphone. We can trigger all that with the processor itself. And also with Mac and PC volume, as you adjust volumes there, if it's a laptop or a computer plugged in, we sync to that volume over USB in this product. So it's a really, really nice product. Again, easy to install, PoE powered, not PoE plus, PoE powered. So it's really nice, again, behind the display. If you only have 2 power outlets, one for the display and one for Teams or Zoom appliance, you don't have to use another power strip or another power socket for our product. It's just powered over the network. So really easy to deploy and use. So you can see here, it's got a second port for the audio network for Dante as well. So you can segregate your control and LAN port and your audio network separately. So that's the QR1, very popular product. We sell a tremendous amount of these products. In the DSPs, again, with all the audio capabilities they have, we also have an integrated control engine, and it's built in, comes with every unit. It's license free, so there's no cost to using control. It's very simple to deploy, just drag and drop. So if you go into your audio blocks in an architecture, you can open up, you can drag in gains, meters, mutes, whatever you want to put on a UI, you can just drag it into the UI screen. Very simple. The processor is also capable of doing third-party control over IP. So you can send out TCP commands. You can use GPIO to control things. We do have drivers built in for certain strategic partners, and we'll talk a little bit about that. However, if you want to create your own, custom driver or do some more sophisticated control, it has Lua scripting capability in the product as well. So you can write Lua scripts to be able to do some more of the sophisticated control. We do have a couple of user interfaces, and I'll show you those here in a few minutes. So you can use one of our touch panels or our wall controller, but we also have a license-free app called Xtouch app, and you can download that in the mobile stores. So it works on iOS, Android, Mac, and PC. So you can create very simply a controlled interface to run on a tablet or actually on a PC. And again, all license-free, no cost. If you would like to control our system with a third-party control system, such as Crestron or AMX, we have modules available in both of those app stores. But also we have a published API for control by any other third-party control system. So just some really neat capability that comes in the processor itself. And what you're finding in a lot of these new modern collaboration spaces is the need for sophisticated third-party control is declining quite a bit. And so when you're just talking about turning projectors on and off, turning displays on and off, and doing mute and volume controls, sometimes you can get away with not using a third-party control system, which significantly reduces the complexity and especially the cost of a room implementation, and just use the control that's built into the signal processor itself. So we see a lot of utilization of that and a lot of value being delivered by having that control engine within the product. So that is the Solaro line of processors. And again, we've been doing these for over 20 years. And now we're diving into some of the new products that we brought out last year to round out our audio solution, starting with Sonia. This is our ceiling-based loudspeaker system that's out of the way, invisible. and leverages IT infrastructure for connectivity. So when we were developing Sonia, we actually looked at developing individual power over Ethernet speakers, right? And so, but we realized that the cost structure of that, when you add that cost of a small amplifier and the Dante chipset and all of that in there, that each speaker is going to cost a lot of money. In some of these larger spaces, you need 4, 8, 16 speakers, and the cost just skyrockets. So what we did is we centralized all the electronics and amplification into a single unit called the Sonia amp, and it's shown here on the right side. And the Sonia amp is a PoE plus network-based amplifier. So you have audio, you have Dante audio and PoE plus coming in, powering the amp. And then we have analog audio going out over category cable, 4 channels. And you can see the 4 RJ45 connectors on the right side of the unit. Those are all analog audio. So in each of the speakers, it's just passive electronics, not any active electronics. We're just sending audio over category cable. And what that does is makes it really easy to terminate. There's no stripping audio wires or getting polarities wrong. It's just use Ethernet patch cables, click and go. And so that's how we distribute sound into our speakers. But you'll see an additional little port here. There's one RJ45 port right next to the LAN port here, and that is a port for your microphone. In a lot of these collaboration spaces, you have ceiling speakers, but you also have a ceiling microphone, whether it be a Sennheiser microphone, Shure, or any of the other ones, and typically those microphones are PoE powered. So this port allows you to actually connect that microphone to the network, because there's a 2x1 Ethernet switch in this product, but it also has a PoE power injector built in, so that it actually injects power into that microphone and powers it. So what that means is, for an entire room, you have one single category cable drop back to your data closet instead of 4 or 5 if you had power over Ethernet speakers as well as a ceiling mic, which really reduces the cost and labor of installation, and it only takes up one network port instead of multiple network ports. That's a real much lower cost way of going about implementing a category-based speaker system. And then we have the speaker itself, and it's a very low profile speaker. It's about 120 millimeters, I believe, if I'm getting my conversions right. As far as depth in the ceiling, we realize that some of these ceiling areas get very crowded, so it's a very low profile speaker. And the amplifier actually mounts on the back of one of the speakers above the ceiling tiles, and then again, everything else is category connected, so it's a really nice, clean, easy to install system. The speaker itself has been designed specifically for intelligibility and voice, although music sounds great coming through the speakers as well, but it's really been optimized around voice. In fact, if you utilize the system with our processors, you actually have a block, an audio block that goes into the design called Voice Match, which is the exact tuning for that speaker and optimizes voice intelligibility for the sound system. It's a very robustly designed speaker, and I know there's a lot of people on from Eastern Europe, but there's probably quite a few on from Germany, and I know your passion around mechanical design, and I can assure you all of our products are very robustly designed. I think you'll all be very impressed with the mechanical design on these products as well as how they sound. It's a 5 1/4 inch driver, along for the main driver, the low frequency transducer is 5 1/4 inch, and then 3/4 inch tweeter. Coaxial, as you can see, magnetic grill. You can remove the logo and paint the grill if you'd like. So all that can, really be nicely done for depending on the space it's going into. And I'll show you a few examples about how it's installed. So for a smaller room, you might only need 2 ceiling speakers, and of course, there's your ceiling microphone in the middle. All category cable connected, and you can see here just one category cable drop going back to the data closet, running Dante and PoE plus. For a typical classroom, what we've seen most common is 4 speakers, and again, single category cable drop. We also power the microphone as well and connect it to the network. And then it also can be used for if you do have some smaller spaces and you want to use a ceiling speaker instead of a wall-mounted sound bar. You have 4 channels of audio, so the amp is 4 channels of Dante in, and so you can use that however you want. And even if you want to use that to, serve 4 different spaces on 4 different audio channels from a centralized processing location, you can do that, again, with a single category cable drop. So probably one of the first questions we're going to get on the it's a PoE Plus network amp is how much power does it put out? So in most conferencing applications, you really don't require a tremendous amount of power, but what the amp puts out, it depends on if there's a PoE mic connected and being powered or not. And so 4 channels, if you do not have a PoE mic connected, you get 5 watts per channel. And then if you do have a PoE mic connected, it's about 2.5 to 3 watts per channel, and that's on PoE Plus. We haven't officially announced this yet. It's coming out in the next software update, but the amp is actually PoE++ capable. So if you find that because of the needs of your space, if you have a higher ceiling, if it's more than 3 meters and you feel like you need more power, PoE++ provides 60 watts total in, and then you're able to get 10 watts per channel if there's not a PoE mic connected, and then 7 watts per channel if there is a PoE mic connected. Also note that you can daisy chain the speakers as well. So you can daisy chain up to 2 speakers per channel, and allowing for a total up to 8 speakers per amp. And that helps you distribute sound much more effectively. So again, the benefit here of Sonia is because we centralized all the electronics in the amp, as compared to individually having PoE in each speaker, we're about half the cost if you look at our solution versus the traditional, 4 PoE speakers, 4 speaker room. So that really kind of helps from a cost optimization perspective, and still getting the benefit of leveraging category cable and individually addressable speakers. So that is Sonia. And then we'll talk about Geo, and this is our line of Dante interfaces. And we brought this line to market because there are applications where we have, the need to bring and bridge other devices onto and off of the network to be processed. And there just wasn't a lot of good partner solutions on the market, and we decided to go ahead and bring our own versions out. So start with Geo USB, and so this is audio only USB, but it allows you to bridge in a collaboration appliance like a laptop or a Zoom or Teams appliance over USB. It also has the same HID capability that I talked about earlier with our USB card, as far as having mute sync and volume sync capability with Microsoft Teams app, as well as computers. You have that capability built in. It's PoE. It's a very compact form factor. It's about 25 millimeters thick, so it just sits underneath a table or behind a display extremely well. If you want to centralize your processing for multiple rooms, this is a great solution for bridging, USB audio on and off the network. And it's very, again, robustly designed. I think when you get your hands on one of these, you'll realize that this is a very, very solidly designed product. So that's a great product for us. And then Bluetooth, and Bluetooth again has lots of different applications. Media playback for some types of environments in education, gymnasiums, fitness centers, but in conferencing rooms, you can use it to real quickly basically utilize your room as a speakerphone. And so this is the European version here is shown, and it fits in a single gang EU back box, and it comes with the white aluminum faceplate for mounting. It has a lot of configuration. When you actually install the system, it's all PoE. You have the ability to configure it with our software. You can configure the Bluetooth name, so you can set up the name as the name of the conference room or the classroom, so that's really easy for the user who's trying to pair. It's capacitive touch button, so it's really easy to clean. It's very robust, so the user can touch the capacitive touch button and then pair with a very familiar name they can see in their pairing list. It also has PIN code security if you want to put that in as well, and you can also configure the type of profile, like if you want to allow just media playback, or just speakerphone, or if you want to do both. All that is completely configurable in our software. It also uses Bluetooth 5.0 Class 2 technology, so you actually get really, really good range on this as well. So that's our Bluetooth product. And then finally, Geo XLR, which is used to bridge more traditional analog audio on and off the network. And these are very often used for ad hoc presentation locations where somebody wants to bring in, microphones and maybe powered speakers and just plug in real quick. The inputs actually include, the 48-volt phantom power for microphones. This is one of the really neat applications of this is you can have, one of our centralized processors, let's say an FR1 in a data closet somewhere in the building, and have this as input and output, and you can go and plug in, and then actually using the free app, you can set up a little portable mixing console on a tablet and be able to have that as a portable mixing console for somebody who's going to make some real quick adjustments and settings for some of these ad hoc presentation spaces and education auditoriums and things like that. So again, this one is Dante powered as well. I'm sorry, Dante enabled as well and PoE powered. This one is 2-gain US, and it comes with a mud ring for installing in walls. But this one we could not quite fit into a 2-gain UK box. But anyway, that's there if there's a need for bridging analog audio devices on and off the network. I'll talk about our user interfaces as well, because again, with a lot of control being much, the needs of control for many spaces these days is pretty straightforward, for just camera control and turning projectors and displays on and off and mute and volume. This is our X-Touch 80. It's an 8-inch capacitive touch panel, PoE powered, wall mountable, but also there's an optional table accessory if you want to put that on the table. And again, it utilizes our X-Touch software so that you can very easily create a UI and have a complete control solution in addition to your audio solution for a space. And we also have a wall controller. This is Lucia. It's a very clean looking, well-designed wall controller. You can see that the rotary encoder dial, it actually can be retracted into the unit, makes it really nice and easy to clean. And then you can retract it out to actually do control. It can take up to 32 different control parameters, again, all drag and drop in our software. You use it for source selection. There's a capacitive touch button that you use to select, and then you can dial, you can control volume and things like that on the unit. So it's a really nice little solution. The EU version is shown there at the bottom, comes with the single gain EU mounting plate, like aluminum mounting plate. So that just gives you really a good idea about our product portfolio. That's what we have on the market today. Very easy to understand, very easy to design and deploy. We utilize, again, software, Xilica Designer software, which is downloadable for free from our website, and it works on both Mac and PC. So if you're a Mac user, it works great, and so you don't have to dual boot or anything on Mac to be able to run the software. It works really well on Mac as well. And if you're familiar with other open architecture type of design software, it's going to be very familiar to you. So it's very straightforward to use and get going in. So lastly, I want to talk about some room solutions and how we go to market from that perspective. So as I mentioned before, we don't make microphones, but we actually have a really good relationship with Sennheiser, and this relationship has been in place for about 2 years now. And Sennheiser does a phenomenal job on ceiling mic arrays and other microphone products, but they don't offer a lot around that to deliver a complete solution, and that's why they partnered up with us to deliver that full room audio solution. So with Sennheiser, when we developed our integration, we went a little bit deeper than we typically do with other third-party devices. And so we have driver, basically in our driver database, that you can just drag the TCC2 into the audio design, but it actually has a lot more additional functionality in that driver if you want to use it. It includes camera follow me capability. So we can control cameras from our DSP, and we have a few different cameras in our library right now, but if it's VISCA controlled, it's all standard stuff. And so our TCC2 follow me driver actually has ability to utilize the beam angle, and when you're going through installation, you actually train the system on the camera settings based on where people are sitting. So an integrator would sit in each location. Let's say it's in a conference room around a table. You would sit in a location and speak, and then it isolates which beam angle that is, and then you set your camera preset, freeze it, and then you move to the next location. And then during operation, the camera will actually track who is talking. You do have some additional settings you can go into and tweak on to, for camera speed and the delay between when somebody else is talking before it switches or before it switches back to a home position. So you do have those capabilities in that driver as well. But yeah, with no control programming, you're able to do that out of the box. Again, our DSPs and USB interfaces include the mute sync capability. So when mute is pressed in Microsoft Teams, we trigger the LEDs on the Sennheiser microphone to indicate mute. So yeah, we also have templates available as well for room solutions, medium and large room solutions around the Sennheiser microphone and our solution. So you don't have to go into open architecture and design your own audio system. It's all done for you, and then you can just go and tweak on audio as you need it. So really nice solution with Sennheiser. When I say that, we still work with every other Dante-enabled microphone and analog mics as well, if you want to wire those in. So we have a driver for the Shure MXA 910 as well. The 920 is coming here shortly. We don't have the follow me capability for those type of products because we have a deeper relationship with Sennheiser, but that's all capable in our products. We work with anybody's Dante device. We're not limited to just Sennheiser. It's just we have additional functionality when you do use Sennheiser from a TCC2 perspective. I'll show you a couple room system diagrams. This is our and kits. We're able to deliver these kits through our distribution partners that sell Sennheiser in addition to Xilica, like Exertis does. This is our smaller room kit, which involves the new Sennheiser TCC-M, and it consists of 2 Sonia C5 speakers, the Sonia amp, and the QR1. And you can see here the way it connects up. You'll have a UC appliance typically behind the display. The QR1 sits really nicely behind the display, powered over PoE, and you have a USB connection into the QR1. And then on the Dante port, that connects typically if you have a segregated LAN where you're running AV and data over separate LANs, you would connect the Dante port up, and the AV LAN provides PoE plus the Sonia amp. You have the speakers connected over category cable, and you're powering the TCC-M from the Sonia amp. And so it basically one category cable drop to the ceiling there. And again, the built-in follow me capability is automatically doing the camera tracking based on who's talking in the room, all being driven from the beam angle that we're getting from the Sennheiser TCC-M. For a medium room where you need a little bit more coverage on the microphone, we do have, again, it's basically the same system, but with the TCC2 instead of the TCC-M. And for the larger room, that's where we extend to, to 4 speakers, TCC2, and we actually include the X-Touch 80 touch controller in that kit. So now you have a little user interface that you can use for mute, volume control, things like that, or you can sync this in with a third-party control system as well. But the follow me camera functionality all built into the templates, so it's very, very easy to deploy. So that's our room solution. And again, what we do specifically with Sennheiser, we have templates already built for the medium and larger collaboration spaces. So you don't have to start from a blank canvas in from that situation. If you do have audio capability and audio expertise inside your organization, of course you can drill in and then you can adjust. It's fully configurable if you want to move things around in the open architecture or add different things and go in and do deeper configuration settings. You of course can do that in our system. It's very flexible. The follow me capability again that I mentioned, it's trainable during the installation process. Very easy to walk through that process and train the system on presets based on beam angle, and then you have the follow me camera tracking. So that's Xilica and our product portfolio and what we do. Again, at a high level, there's a lot of technical things we can dive into, and we're happy to answer any questions as we go forward here.
Well, thank you so much for this presentation. Very interesting products that we certainly make good use of, I think. Let's move on to questions like you just said. Yeah, there are quite a bit of questions. Are they? So I will start from above. So I guess there are a lot of questions which are already answered, and I would like to start with the one I'll think is pretty good. So Are the network interfaces only can I only use them with the Xilica products, or can I use them with any Dante device?
Yeah, you can use them with any Dante device. You would just need to download the free Xilica designer software to configure the product, but it will show up in Dante controller, and you can do all your routing and all of that kind of stuff in Dante controller. So it's just using standard Dante interfaces there. So yes, absolutely can work with other products.
Okay. You mentioned earlier that there is the functionality with mute sync with Microsoft Teams. Is this also available with Zoom?
So not yet. We're working right now, actually, with Sennheiser to get through the Zoom certification. And it does work in our labs, but we have to go through and finish the Zoom certification to actually get them to whitelist it, and then it will work. So it has the functionality built in, but it doesn't work with Zoom today until we get on the Zoom whitelist, which after we finish the Zoom certification, hopefully here in about 3 months, then we'll have that capability as well.
Okay, are your DSP and USB products Microsoft Teams certified?
Not yet. That's the other one. Zoom is a lot more open to access as far as getting into the program. We're still going to go through the team certification testing, and then we have to work on actually being invited into the program, but Sennheiser has been open to helping us on that. So we expect to have that done this year.
Okay, pretty good. Thank you so far. Are both DSP products with open APIs?
Correct. Yes, and both DSP products operate exactly the same. It's just the difference in I/O. And so yes, they both have open and published APIs that you can use for third-party control if you'd like.
Okay, very good. Are there only ceiling speakers available at the moment?
Yes, right now there's just ceiling speakers, but we're looking at expanding the Sonia line for future versions of speakers like wall mounts in the future.
Okay, pretty cool. There is another question about prices. I would like everyone from the participants, if you're interested in buying those products, please come over with a quick email or a quick call at integration@exertisproav.de. You will get the corresponding offer from my coworkers. So are there any switch recommendations and setup guides available for system integrators and users?
Yes, there is. All the products ship with system setup guides, and then we have, again, the designer software has a lot of stuff that helps you walk you through that as well. From a network switch perspective, we don't have any documented setup procedures because it works just basically with standard networking switches. There has been a lot of use, I know, globally of the Netgear AV line of switches because of all the pre-configuration they've done for Dante that really simplifies things. With that said, it will still work with any other switch. We're not doing anything that on our network side that involves any special switch configuration, but I do know for Dante that it does make it easier with the Netgear line of switches.
Okay, thank you. We happen to have Netgear in our portfolio, so it's a good point.
That's great. Yeah, 4250s there, they're great.
Another question about other manufacturers that we might have in our portfolio. We're quite used to work with Barco ClickShare, and is it possible to use your Xilica KO1 UC or the FO1 or maybe even the Geo USB with the Barco ClickShare applications?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we're in the Barco program as far as a certified partner. We've gone through all the testing with the ClickShare. And so, yeah, that makes for a really nice solution. So we work very well with Barco. Other third-party devices, again, we have a very focused, solution area. You can use Lua scripting and all of that to create whatever you want, as far as communicating to third-party devices. But for the ones that we actually develop, we focus in on a small set of particular manufacturers. Sennheiser is one of them. And then Lumens actually is another, and I know Exertis COMM-TEC is a distributor for Lumens as well. We find a lot of distributors around the world utilizing Lumens, and I can tell you that in the next TCC2 Follow Me driver update, which is in beta right now, and it should come out in production in about a month, it adds functionality for the Lumens VSCA, which VSCA, they use U2P VSCA instead of TCP. So we have that coming, as well as Lumens camera drivers as well, to make that easier for integration.
Great, thank you. Another question, which other control systems are being supported besides Crestron and AMX?
Those are the ones we have modules for, actually, in the Crestron and AMX stores, but it will work with any other third-party control system. We have a published API that you can use to create the TCP/IP commands necessary. It's pretty straightforward to do, but yeah, it'll work with any control system over a network. We just don't have prepared modules for them, other than Crestron and AMX.
Okay, but I know that there might be not that there might be RTI drivers. There are RTI drivers from some programmers we are familiar with. Mm-hmm. So I think it should be doable. Yes. How many audio channels can handle the system? Is the QR1 available with a cascading option?
So you can basically use multiple QR1s to cascade. You do have Dante, so it's only 4 channels in, 4 channels out on the Dante for QR1. So that can limit the cascading a little bit. You could theoretically can do it though. The FR1s, of course, with 64 by 64 Dante, you have plenty of room for cascading. You can do that. So basically, from an analog audio perspective, the QR1 can do up to 16 I/O ins and outs, and then the FR1 can do 32 and analog in and out, and then the FR1 has 64 by 64 networked audio, and the QR1 has 4 by 4 Dante.
Okay, very good. Regarding the Xilica Designer software, are there any kind of webinars or recordings or sessions available to train the people who might work with the software? We definitely will do another webinar. Sometimes we haven't specified a date yet, but we will definitely do it to get the programmers and system integrators and people who work there into the system. But is there anything available by now?
Yes, there is training available. It's a very extensive training. If you want to go deep on it, there is plenty of video training available in our partner portal. We are going to be working on some smaller, little, more, focused nuggets, because I know people's time, sometimes they need something really short. So we're working on that. So yeah, and then of course Mark does a lot of this training for folks around the world. So in a future webinar, he could give a good, very succinct view of the software and how it's used. And again, if you've used any other software that's similar, once you get the general overview, you're off to the races.
Perfect. Are there any other preset functionality for other ceiling microphones besides Sennheiser Team Connect Ceiling 2 and Team Connect Medium?
Yes, we do have the driver for the Shure MXA 910, and we're working right now on the 920. We should have the 920 out here in a few months.
Okay, good to know. Regarding the camera tracking and follow me thing, which camera systems or manufacturers are usable with the Xilica products?
So the current driver that we have out there right now will work with any TCP VSCA controlled camera, so using the Sony VSCA protocol. So that covers a wide range of cameras. What we did notice with Lumens is that they do VSCA over UDP, so we're adding that now, and within a month we'll have that driver out there. So it'll work with any UDP VSCA cameras as well, not just Lumens, basically any UDP VSCA controlled camera as well as TCP.
Okay, there's another question regarding another manufacturer. It might be a system that we're also familiar with. It's about Yamaha Adesia. Can you also use a QR1 or FR1 DSP unit with a Yamaha Adesia microphone?
You should be able to, because the companies are slightly competitive or overlap each other. From a partnership perspective, we're not able to acquire their products to test with, but it's a Dante-enabled device, and so as long as it's routable and Dante controller, you'd be able to bring Dante into Solaro and go through all the audio processing. So there should be no issues. It's just that we've not formally tested it because we're just not able to get our hands on the gear since they're not a formal partnership.
Okay. Thank you. So I will check if there are any other questions left unanswered. Does the DSP units have AEC functionality?
Oh yes, they do. So basically, the FR1 and QR1 both have AEC capability. I believe it's 8 channels at 250 milliseconds. I'm sorry, 16 channels at 250 milliseconds, and then 8 channels at 100 milliseconds.
Okay, pretty good. There's another question regarding availability. Are the products in stock? Yes, they are.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes. Yeah, it was a challenging year last year, but everybody worked hard, and our engineers worked hard to get new components in and on the boards, and yeah, we're good on inventory.
Very good. So, are there any questions left? I will leave the participants quite a couple of seconds. Maybe there's something coming. Because we have answered everything so far.
Great.
Anyway, so if there might be some questions afterwards, and you will receive, all participants will receive an email from me with the contact data and the recording of the session and the webinar. So if there's anything left, you feel free to reach out to me and to my team. We will answer your questions. Of course, the products are available, are ready to ship. And yeah, thank you for your attention. Thank you, Sean and Mark, for taking your time. If there's anything, we're always happy to help together with our partner Xilica. And have a nice evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are. Thank you for your attention, and goodbye.
Thank you.